Because we have to be really, really careful. Now, if we're a Zen functionary, like let's say we're the abbot or the head Dharma teacher or a guy who's starting a Zen center in his house and having friends over, we have to be very, very, very vigilant, if we have the capacity to do so, not make our practice about like and dislike. So if we base our practice on like and dislike, we're doomed. And so it's especially important for someone like me to not make this practice about my likes and dislikes. And I can like or dislike things in the environment, but to not be vigilant about whether or not those likes and dislikes are imposing themselves on the practice situation is a big job. It's an important job. Because if our practice is about like and dislike, and maybe it's about like and dislike vis-a-vis this question of what method I'm using to practice. Right? That's a very fundamental like and dislike. I don't like the way my mind is, so I'm going to shoot it with this gun. I love the way my mind is now, so I'm going to let it rest over here by this pool. You know, that's all about like and dislike, and it makes it creates a situation where our practice then never gets to take hold. It never gets to take root in don't know. It never gets to take root in this wonderful phrase, just do it, because we're always flipping around. So, sometime during this retreat, and if not then, sometime in your life, like living at the Zen Center or going to some retreat or something, you'll hear a bell and you'll just get up and you won't have a big idea about it. And you're going to just put on your kasa, just go to the Dharma room and duck, 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 and you'll just start chanting. And it won't be anything about you. It'll just appear that, okay, it's time to do that, now we're doing it, you know? And then that'll be an indication that you're capable of practicing correctly. That'll be an indication that you just demonstrated, just do it, just doing it. Right? The function of your don't know mind in this moment. The teaching phrases, this is kind of interesting, the teaching phrases like just do it, or how can I help you, or don't know, or various things we read in all the literature and hear the teacher said to one extent or another. Those phrases don't come from an idea about how it would be if we were clear. Those phrases are phrases that put into words what appears in our natural state when our mind comes to rest. Not the words themselves. The words are describing a natural state. So we don't have to try to help this world. We don't have to try to be a bodhisattva. You don't have to try to have a clear mind. That teaching is pointing to something that we already have the capacity for, but haven't come to accept. So you could say the natural state of your mind, moment to moment, is how can I help you? The natural state of your mind, moment to moment, is the sky with the clouds is gray and the trees are bare of leaves. That's the natural state of your mind. That's not something we have to learn and paste on top of ourselves to get better at Zen. Zen is not even a thing. It's just a set of language that talks about a clear mind and a clear mind's function. But the clear mind came before the talking. A clear mind appears, and then, it's like you said, how do we describe this to other people, and all these words come up. But in clear mind, there's no voice describing it all to yourself. You don't need that. Other questions? Yes.
It's connected to this. It seems like it's really easy to experience this great love when you're sitting in the cushion, or when you do some chanting practice of I, and you just feel connected with the whole world, and you feel like you're just right there for everyone. And then you are right there with somebody, and it's not there, and it's coming from the same source. But what makes it hindered that it can't manifest when we are in the situation?
It's a simple answer. One word. I. So if we're able to practice enough so that when we get into an uncomfortable interpersonal situation, right, which is not rare in our lives, and it could be uncomfortable in a lot of ways. It could be uncomfortable because it's liable to be exciting, or it's liable to be scary, or it's liable to be humiliating, or it's like, you know what I mean? There's all different kinds of uncomfortable. But if we're practicing, and if we have some skill with recognizing what arises in our mind, we'll notice that the level of discomfort increases to the extent that I'm holding on to my idea. And will decrease, this discomfort will decrease, commensurate with to the extent that I can let go of my own need to self-protect or self-promote or self-analyze or whatever, and experience this other person just as they are, without adding a whole bunch of other stuff based on my expectation, based on my fear, based on whatever. So when we're chanting, something about the technique of chanting is to cut off that I. Through repetition, almost all religious or spiritual practices use repetition and movement. And the more primitive ones are more connected with that. The less primitive ones are more, I'm honest anyway. But chanting and movement, dancing and that kind of thing, are a way to interrupt our habitual thinking and reduce the influence of this I, which can be quite strong. So we naturally feel it when we're chanting or bowing is another one. The point of our practicing is not to get something that we don't have. It's simply to be completely what we already are. And it sounds simple to say, but we fight it so much. It's so against our tendency that we need to have all of these teaching words to trick ourselves into trying it for just even a moment. But if, like Jean experienced in Aikido, very sincere practicing, and then the mind falls away, that's an experience that you don't easily disregard. And that's also an experience that can really help you through a lot of bad weather. A lot of complicated situations, a lot of struggle and conflict. If you can just recall, it's possible to just be completely in it.